Do you seem to suffer from cold feet or cold hands in the middle of winter?
In this video, we are going to show you all the hacks that we have learned over the years to make sure your feet and hands don't become ice blocks.
If you haven't already done so, click subscribe to the channel and press that notification icon so that you get notified every time we make a new upload.
Now, a big reason why you get cold hands and feet is because your circulation. So make sure you've loosened off your shoes and you haven't got too tight cuffs to make sure all that blood from your core gets down to your fingers and toes. You wiggling your toes, mate?
I'm trying to. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle.
Oh, it's cold. A lot of cycling shoes out there are designed to keep your feet cool during those summer days, meaning loads and loads of vents. But you want to keep the warmth in and all the cold and wet out. So to do so, you can use some tape up the vents like so. I mean, it's not that aesthetically pleasing, but you could also take the insole out and tape up the vents on the sole too. Couple that up with some overshoes and you've got some nice warm feet. Perfect for the winter. Right, if my tape stays on.
There are as many different styles of glove out there as there are different sizes of hands, but making sure that you have a set that work in the conditions that you intend to ride is what is imperative. Now here in Europe, we can generally speaking get away with just a nice thick pair of winter gloves because it's not actually all that cold here, especially in the UK. And generally speaking, the temperature doesn't change that much on any given day. But if you live somewhere where the weather is much more severe or the temperatures do change throughout the course of the day much more, then you may need to consider something else. So something like a ski lobster style glove with a bit of a claw, or liners. Wearing a thinner glove underneath a thicker winter glove that you can then remove if the temperature does change and it warms up throughout the course of the day, or if you get wet hands, replace them with a different liner in the middle of your ride.
Unsurprisingly, it's a wet and cold day here in the UK. And if you're like me and suffer with getting wet and cold hands, then this hack will really help you. And it's involving some latex gloves. Pop them in your saddlebag when you're preparing your bike, or put them in your back pocket. And when this rain starts coming down, you start getting wet gloves, pop them on. And it means your gloves can get wet, but your hands still stay dry. Now, if you do have really cold hands on a ride and you forget your latex gloves, then you can always pop into a gas station or petrol station, pop them on, Bob's your uncle, there you have it. Nice, warm and dry hands.
For the eager-eyed amongst you out there, you may have noticed that I'm not actually wearing my lightweight summer socks today. I've got thermal winter socks on. These have got a windproof and a waterproof property to them, and these are my go-to. But if you don't have access to winter socks, or you're just in a rush and you want to throw on some summer socks, doubling up on layers is the key to keeping warm, because you'll trap warm air in between each layer. The only thing you do need to be aware of when you wear extra layers on your feet though, is that if your shoes are particularly snug, you may struggle to get your foot into your shoe, in which case it may be worth having a second set of shoes for the winter, which are perhaps just half a size bigger.
A traditional GCN trick to keep your feet nice and toasty warm is to use some tinfoil. Tinfoil is such a good insulator, hence why it's used in cooking. Now make sure you get a nice big piece like so. Wrap it around your foot, and this should keep all that nice and warm heat from your feet trapped in your shoe. Do your shoe up and then get your overshoes if you've got some, and there you have it. A nice warm and insulated foot, perfect for any temperature, unless it's too cold to go out.
When it comes to looking for hacks to keep warm and dry in the winter, some of the simplest are the most effective, and they're certainly the most cost effective. Cling film can be picked up cheaply at your local grocery store. And it's very easy to use. You simply wrap your entire foot. And the beauty of cling film is it will stick to itself, so you don't need to use too much either. Simply cover your foot completely and your ankle if you're wearing an overshoe, and then cut a hole for your cleat, and you'll have a sealed, weatherproof foot. Be warned though, your foot's going to get a little bit sweaty, but at least it won't be cold.
It's one of those really cold, wintry days, and your gloves are just not doing the trick, keeping your hands as warm as you'd like them. Well, I've got a really good trick up my sleeve that might, just might, save your hands from freezing. It involves one of these. Now this is a heat pad that is designed to go on muscles for aches and pains, but you can get them from any sort of outdoor or camping shop, and they come in all different sizes, and they do last for a few hours and could really save your hands from becoming ice blocks. What you can do, rip off the back, stick it over the top of your hands, pop it back in the glove, making sure your cuffs aren't stopping your blood flow. So keep all that good warm blood from flowing from your core down to the hands, and then you should feel a nice warm patch on the top of your hand, and that will keep it nice and warm until you get home and sit by the fire. Right. Oh, that feels good already. Whew.
If all of these winter hacks are not up to scratch, then there's only one thing left for you to do, and that's to invest in some heavy-duty winter kit that has been designed specifically to cope with the worst of the worst conditions. And I'm talking snow, ice, heavy rainfall, and minus temperatures. For example, these Physique Arctica R5 booties, which I would only consider wearing in the worst of the worst conditions, will keep your feet warm and dry for the majority of the worst rides. They feature reflective linings, a sealed zip, and a fleece inner, meaning they keep your feet warm and dry in every condition you can imagine. The only problem is you're probably not going to ride in those conditions.
Now we hope that all these hacks have helped you keep your hands and feet nice and warm through those wintry rides.
If you enjoyed this video, give it a big thumbs up, and also let us know if you think we've missed anything. Drop it down in the comments below.
And for more how-to videos, click down there, because it's getting wet and cold and we need to get going, don't we?
Oh, we do.
Oh.